Hello everyone and welcome to the Pokebattler website. My name is Famous from FLW Videos, and today we are going to be talking about the top 6 counters versus the legendary Pokemon known as Terrakion. So this Pokemon is from Generation 5 and a part of the Swords of Justice. People are very excited about this Pokemon coming out towards the end of November. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. By the way, Terrakion is a dual type Pokemon of Steel as well as the Fighting type. So we are going to see a little bit of variety due to the typing. And at the number 1 position is the absolute king, the Pokemon that you want to make sure to use in this situation is none other than Mewtwo. So let's go and talk a little bit about the results. I want to go ahead and address the moveset, by the way. We've got Confusion and then Psystrike. But if you go ahead and check out the performance as far as Psycho Cut and Psystrike are concerned, so just changing out the quick move, you end up getting the same performance as far as the level 35 rankings are concerned. So just keep that in mind. Save yourself some of those fast TMs. And then it is going to be a little bit of a drop in performance when you start talking about using the move Psychic. So that is just something just to kind of consider. But regardless of that, taking a look at the overall section with the ratings, we have a 5-star, 5-star, and then a 4-star in the consistency. But that's still going to be good as far as its rankings at level 35 are concerned. We are seeing a pure on sweep, a number 1 in all of the categories. So that is definitely going to be a positive. You are going to want to use Mewtwo if you have yourself one, especially a Psystrike Mewtwo. Other than that, as far as the defenses are concerned, we have a very good situation going on where we either have some neutral situations or even potentially some resistance when you go up against that fighting type move. So Mewtwo is just going to be able to absolutely walk through Terrakion, so it is something to consider. And then when we take a look at short manning it, it is going to be very possible to be able to do it with 2 people if you can manage to use yourself a Mewtwo, even at level 35, and then, of course, use the correct moveset if at all possible. It's very, very possible to do it with 2 people, so just kind of keep that in mind as you go throughout this raid system. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to the number 2 position and talk about Metagross. So Metagross, we're going to be hitting it from the Steel typing with Bullet Punch as well as Meteor Mash. Other than that, believe it or not, we actually have a similar performance with Zen Headbutt and the Meteor Mash as well, because both of those movesets are going to be super effective, so that's just kind of how it works. As far as the ratings are concerned, we're seeing a 4-star, 4-star, and then a 3-star in the consistency. And then as far as its rankings at level 35, also very consistent. Of course, not on the same level as Mewtwo, but going to be a great situation to get out there and use those Meteor Mash Metagrosses if you have that Community Day exclusive move. Other than that, though, we do have one moveset that we are going to want to watch out for, and that is going to be Earthquake, where we are going to be weak to it. Other than that, we have a neutral situation as well as a situation where we do get those resistances. Into the number 3 spot is going to be a mythical Pokemon known as Jirachi. Now, this is incredible. We really don't see Jirachi show up on many lists, but in this case, it just works out. Because of it not having that Steel-type quick move, in this case, it doesn't really matter because you've got Confusion. And then, of course, Doom Desire. Doom Desire, a great move in Pokemon Go. As far as its ratings are concerned, 3-star on the damage, I mean, we'll give that a pass. We got a 5-star on the bulk and then a 4-star on the consistency. As far as its rankings are concerned, I mean, we're seeing some fairly consistent rankings across all of these Pokemon. Nothing really stands out in a negative way until we get to the defenses. Once again, watch out for Earthquake. That's just going to be something that you have to look out for if you have any of these Pokemon that kind of hit from that Steel typing standpoint. Other than that, we are going to move into the number 4 position, and that is Latios. So Latios, you are going to want to use Zen Headbutt as well as Psychic. And it is going to be a pretty big drop when you talk about the next best moveset. So make sure in this case you do go with Zen Headbutt and Psychic if you do want to use Latios. As far as the ratings are concerned, 3-star on damage, 3-star on bulk, and then a 4-star on the consistency. And once again, we are seeing a lot of very tight rankings. The worst one being the Power, ranked out at 6, but hey, that's honestly not that bad. And then to make things a little bit more interesting, we have some neutral situations as well as resistances, but we don't have a situation where it is going to be weak to any moveset, so Latios could end up being somewhat of a safe option. Then at the number 5 spot, it is going to be Alakazam, but there is going to be a bit of a twist to this situation because the best moveset is going to be Confusion as well as Psychic. Psychic is a legacy move for Alakazam, so keep that in mind. If you do not have it, of course you could go with Psycho Cut and Psychic, but you still run into the issue where Psychic is legacy, and then it is going to be a 9% drop in performance for you to use Future Sight instead if you don't have Psychic. So most of the people are probably going to be around this spot instead, but hey, if you've got yourself a Psychic, more power to you. As far as the rankings are concerned, we have the ratings, by the way. We've got a 3-star on damage, 1-star on bulk. That's going to be the only red flag. Consistency is looking good. As far as its rankings are concerned, it's going to look pretty bad when you talk about the power as well as the number of potions. Other than that, it's fairly solid, but it's just going to be a fun Pokemon to use. And then we have some neutral situations as well as a resistance, so at least looking good from that regard. And then finally, we have Machamp, a solid Pokemon that we tend to see a lot on these lists versus the raid bosses. We are going to see a 3-star on the damage, 2-star on the bulk, and then a 5-star on the consistency. Best moveset of Counter Dynamic Punch. If you have the Legacy move, you could go with Karate Chop, but then when you start dropping down below that using like Bullet Punch, the performance goes down by 8%, so just kind of keep that in mind. And as far as the rankings are concerned, at level 35, we're seeing a little bit more of a spread, mostly in that power and then potion play, much like what we saw with Alakazam as well. We do have some good matchups as far as the defense is concerned with some neutral situations as well as a resistance. But if you were looking for more Pokemon that you want to go ahead and try out, some that are kind of on the beaten path, head over to the Terrakion raid guide. Go ahead and just change it up and test it out on the website.